Alrighty guys, what's up? It's Caleb again with Southern Plains. Today I'm going to do a video over broadheads. This is a broadhead review for traditional style broadheads. These are all two blades. We've got two that are single bevel and one of them that's double bevel. So first up is the Grizzly. We've got a double bevel Grizzly. It's got an aluminum insert, so it's not one piece. They glued in an aluminum insert. I've hunted with these. I killed a turkey last year with these. Actually broke at the insert when I shot the turkey, so I'm not using these anymore. They do have a quality head. They just cheaped out on the insert, and it's a shame they don't make a one piece, because these are great broadheads. They just, not the best inserts. So that's the first one up. That's 200 grains. The next one I'm using is a Cutthroat. This is from RMS Gear, and this is a really popular head right now, probably the most popular one in the traditional world. Grizzly is also up there. They've probably been a long time leader. The Cutthroat is a great head. This one's 200, I believe it's 200 grains as well. I did kill a deer with this year on the end of one of my wood arrows. I've got a screw-in adapter on my wood arrows, and so I really like how these are all one piece. And then the last broadhead that I'm reviewing, I just got these in the mail. These are Van Diemen's. They're by Gidgee Sticks. I'll leave a link in the description. I know I'm probably butchering the pronunciation of this, but these are a single bevel as well. These are 225 grains, so they're a little bit heavier. That might affect the test a little bit. I'm not sure. We'll see. And these come in the pack razor sharp. So I just pulled it out of the package, and I can just shave. So it's pretty crazy. I'm going to go ahead and do a cutting test, let you see all of them that they are sharp before I go ahead and shoot. As far as shooting goes, I'm going to be shooting into a wood plank just because I've got bone, but bone's just, it's inconsistent. Some areas are thicker, some might be harder. So people are going to say, if one broadhead wins, they'd be like, well, you hit the harder part or the thicker part with that broadhead. I don't want there to be anything like that going on, so I'm going to shoot them all at a piece of wood, and then I'm going to shave with them after, shave the paper, shave my arm, see how they hold up their edge. As far as shooting goes, you should be able to tune any broadhead. You're gonna have to play with your nocking point, your arrow, the spine, your shelf a little bit, but you should be able to get any of these to tune. So I'm not gonna shoot groups with them. It's just defeat the purpose. I'll have to retune my bow all the time. I've shot these two heads. They fly like field points if you'll take the time and tune your bow. I haven't shot this one yet, but it's a pretty similar profile to the Cutthroat, a little bit wider, and this one is definitely the thickest. So I really like the look of this one. I think I'm going to like it. These are from Australia, which is pretty neat. Traditional archery is really big in Australia, so shout out to any of my viewers from Australia. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a closer look, and we'll go over these broadheads more. Alrighty guys, so here is the Grizzly. I just finished sharpening these. You can see my arm where I've shaved all up and down there. So I've checked each of them. So I'll go ahead and do paper test. There's that one. This one is the hardest to sharpen by far. I have a lot of problems getting this one real sharp. I don't know why. It should be easier. It's a double bevel, but I've had a lot of problems with it. So it might be just the angle of the ferrule. So that's the way I sharpen it. You can see I just hold that against the stone. You can see the grind marks right there, and it's a pretty steep edge compared to the Cutthroat. So I think that has a little bit to do with it. You can see that one cuts pretty easy. There's the Van Diemen. Man, this one is just razor sharp. So you can see that. It's crazy. They come in the package like this, which is a little bit scary, but saves me some time sharpening them. I'll give you all a closer look at that. I know this one isn't near as popular right now. They only come in this bevel version, and they only have 2 weights right now. I'm sure as they grow they'll get more, but that's what I've got for right now. All these broadheads I paid for with my own money, not sponsored by any of these guys or anything like that. So this is going to be a brutally honest test. I've already told you I'm not really liking the grizzly screw-in broadheads right now, just because I have one break on a turkey, which is pretty sad. Other than that, if you're going to go the glom route, I think these are a great head. But anyways, let's go ahead and get to the shooting. Alright guys, there's a piece of wood I'm shooting at right there. I'm going to be shooting at 10 yards. Shooting with my Wingard again. Really only just because I really like this bow. Oh, my shirt came in too, so I'm pretty stoked about that. I've been wearing it everywhere. Anyways, so it's 45 pounds at 28 inches. I'm pulling 26 inches. So I'm pulling 41 pounds is what I measured it at, in case y'all are wondering about the weight. So not a whole bunch of power with this bow, my draw length, but it's even. So I'm using the same bow on every arrow, so should have very even results. Shooting at 10 yards, one, because there's not going to be any erratic arrow flight, you know, nothing crazy happening after 10 really, and also because I don't want to miss. So yeah, and I'm shooting aluminum arrows. I don't want to ruin my Axis arrows shooting at a plank, so I'm shooting some old aluminum arrows. And anyways, I'll go ahead and send them down the range. Alrighty guys, so this is the end result. So the grizzly is on this side. It got the most penetration. In the middle we got the Van Diemen, and on the left side, your right side over here, is the Cutthroat. And so the Van Diemen and the Cutthroat were really close. I mean, there's not maybe a 1/16 of an inch difference. The grizzly definitely won penetration wise. So I'll go ahead and see exactly how far it got. About half an inch. So the others aren't even really worth measuring. So I'm going to go ahead and pull them out and see exactly what we've got here. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and go over my conclusion of the test, the pros and cons of each broadhead, just their strengths and weaknesses, and which one I'm going to choose as the winner, if I can choose a winner. So we've got the different holes right here from the test. This being the Cutthroat, this is the Van Diemen, and this is the grizzly. So I'll go ahead and measure those real quick. This one's under 2 centimeters, just under 2 centimeters. That's the grizzly. Oh my goodness, this is a little over 2.5 centimeters. That's a Van Diemen. That's a big hole. And then the Cutthroat, it's just under 2 as well on the width. So I think since the Cutthroat and the Van Diemen got the same penetration, basically, the Van Diemen won between these two penetration wise, because it's got a wider cut and it got about the same penetration. So I'm gonna give the edge to the Van Diemen. Now these two, between them two, it's gonna be hard to say because this got a little more penetration, but I mean this was a much wider cut, so I'm not really sure I can pick a winner. You know, they're just different. You know, one's a little stronger in one area because it's width, one's a little stronger in penetration. That's just how they're gonna be due to the design. And so I really like how the Van Diemen's got that just massive hole. And another thing that we're not talking about is it's the thickest. So you can expect it, you know, to have the worst penetration basically, because it's the widest and the thickest, but it got just as much as the Cutthroat, which is a much narrower broadhead. So that's very impressive. And I'll go ahead and go over the pros and cons of each. We'll start with the grizzly. So the pros would be they're pretty affordable. They're not expensive. They're you know, they're relative. You can get them relatively sharp. You know, the con would be they're a pain to sharpen. But the actual head, except for the insert, is bulletproof. I mean, they're super tough. I haven't had any bend or anything like that. And they've got a longer, narrower profile. They're more the 3-to-1 Ashby style broadhead. So, you know, they penetrate very well. I mean, they're all in all, they're a great head. Okay, the cons would be they cheaped out on the insert, which I'm not a fan of. You know, you've got a lot of guys that, you know, spend a lot of money on these products year after year. You know, give them their money's worth. Even if you have to, you know, increase the price a little bit, give them something that's going to last. I don't want this breaking on a turkey. If it's breaking on a turkey, what's going to happen if I shoot something larger? You know, so I'm not a fan of that, and I'm not a fan of how hard these are to just sharpen due to their angle. So next will be the Cutthroat. Pros of this would be super easy to sharpen. They're one piece, which is much better than the Grizzly design. So they're more solid. You know, they penetrate, you know, decent. They're not as good as the other two, but they're just a solid head. You know, they're reliable. I don't think they're, you know, have as much special features as either of those two. This one having, you know, the longer, narrower profile, and this one having the wider and thicker profile. This one's just kind of a more balanced one. But I mean, I guess it's kind of hard to say that because this one with the wider cut performed just as well, actually better. So cons would be price point. These are expensive. They're hardly ever in stock. You know, I know people wait forever to get these things. So those are two cons for me. 3, I guess, would be the performance. I'm not saying they perform bad. I blew clean through a deer, you know, and stuck 6 inches in the ground with a wood arrow, 45 pounds, you know, 20-yard shot. So, I mean, they're not a bad arrow if you put it in the, I mean, they're not a bad broadhead if you put it in the pump house. I mean, all of these will do the job if you do yours. But we're talking about these testing on wood and stuff. This is for marginal hits. If you hit them in the shoulder or a bone, you know, you want to see how they're going to perform when crap hits the fan. So that's what this test is. And lastly, I'm going to go with the Van Diemens. So this being the first time I've shot them, you know, I was pretty impressed. They're a solid one-piece head, and I don't know, I really liked them. I like the width of them. I really think I would take this over the other two because the Grizzly penetrated the best by ½ an inch. But I think I would rather have this, you know, especially because most of the time I'm not having those marginal shoulder blade hits. I'm going clean through the deer. So this one's going to give me the best blood trail, and the deer is going to expire the fastest. And it, you know, it might buy you, it's kind of like a fatter arrow in 3D archery. It might buy you that ring. It might buy you that extra lung. It might nick the heart, you know. So having that every little bit of extra width on there, it helps. I like that these are the thickest. They look the most solid of all three. Another pro would be their price point. They're cheaper than the Cutthroats by, I think, $7 or $8 a pack, and they seem like they're more readily available. Cons, they only come in 2 weights and only 1 bevel, so that kind of stinks. I'm sure though, as they make more money and as they grow, they're going to offer more. So that might be all the more reason to look into them and support them. I guess another con would be maybe these are going to be harder to sharpen, but they're also going to do more damage in the deer, you know, or you know, whatever animal you shoot, because they're going to be cutting back and forward where these aren't. Okay, so if I had to pick between all three of them, I'm going to go ahead and put this one out because it didn't perform as well as these two. And between these two, this one out penetrated a little bit, but this had a better cutting surface. I think the main point is going to be, this one's like a couple dollars cheaper, but I can't go with this one. It broke on a turkey. So I think my personal winner would really be this one, the Van Diemen, just because it's solid. I'm not worried about it breaking. It's a chunk of steel. I believe it's carbon steel, and they're, you know, they're actually really good priced. So this one is going to take first place for me, and then these can both tie. I mean, this one penetrates better, but I don't ever want to shoot those again with that insert. Now, I guess if you're going on glue-on broadheads, the Grizzly's gonna, you know, be closer up here with this one. So I would put them dead even if we were doing glue-ons. I don't know if Van Diemen makes glue-on, but if they're all glue-ons. I go with these two. This one is a solid head. There's nothing wrong with it. If this is what you've got, stick with it. It's a great head. I just don't like it as much as these two for the reasons I stated. So I hope you enjoyed the video. This is just the best way, the most fair way I could think of possible to test them. You know, measure the width, get the penetration. We all know that they're going to blow clean through a deer if you hit them, you know, right behind the shoulder. So there's no point testing that. I just wanted to see a marginal hit. I didn't want to use bone. Like I said, it's not consistent, so we used the wood. So I hope you guys like the video. If you can do me a favor, go ahead and like the video, comment, share it, whatever. I put quite a bit of time into these. I put my money into these. I was afraid one of these was going to break. I bought all these, but I really enjoyed it. Let me know if there's any other reviews you'd like me to do. You can just drop a comment. You know, I can do a review of the bows I have. I can do a review of my Ash self bow I just finished compared to my Osage self bow. I can shoot bows through a chronograph. There's all types of stuff I could do, and I'll keep doing it. But if you think of something specific you want me to do, just let me know. I'd be happy to do it. Thanks, guys.